Hey guys, welcome back to a video review. Today's video is my first in the series of handgun videos that I'll be doing on certain pistols. So, what prompted me to do these videos is I actually work at a gun counter at a large sporting goods retail chain, and I decided to do these videos as kind of a way to practice my skill of talking about the gun, talking about the features without having to go through a gun counter and doing it, because I work part-time at the gun store anyways, and so I don't always have time to practice talking about guns, so I figured this is a great way to practice that skill. So let's get into today's review of the M&P Shield EZ380. First, before we get started, let's go ahead and check the gun. Magazine is empty and our chamber is clear as well. Yep. Alright, so let's get started on this pistol. This is the M&P Shield EZ380. I'm going to call this the EZ380 or just the EZ through this entire video to so I don't have to say the entire thing over and over. Yeah, so this is kind of Smith & Wesson's, I'm going to call it Smith & Wesson's introduction pistol, kind of. It's a great gun to get started in the firearms, in the sport of firearms and the sport of shooting. Because it's a low recoil gun. It's a full-sized, I'd say almost full-size pistol, and it has a lot of features that I think for the new shooter, or for even the average everyday shooter, even some like professional and really into gun type people, there are some things in here that you might like with it. Let's go over some of the specs. 8+1 magazine, so 8 rounds in the magazine, 1 in the chamber, 9 rounds. Has an 18-degree grip angle, which is very much close to the standard full-size M&Ps, and I think that's pretty close to kind of the 1911 grip, which is very ergonomic from the get-go. 3.6-inch barrel, 6.7 inches overall length, and it weighs about 18.5 ounces unloaded, I believe. So it's a pretty good, well-rounded pistol. It's very lightweight. Even loaded, this thing is super light. It's way lighter than my Glock 19, but again, that's kind of what it is. Has a Picatinny rail on it. I decided to throw a TLR7 light on here to show off what I would use this gun for, and again, I would use this gun if I owned it as a self-defense pistol. This is on loan from my roommate, so this is actually his gun. He was nice enough to let me do a review on this today. So, yeah, so you have a Picatinny rail on it, so you can't put lights on it. We're going to start from the bottom of the gun, and we'll work our way up, and I'll talk about some of the features of it, what I like, what I don't like, and we'll go more into detail on those specs. So, let's start off with the magazine. 8-round magazine. This has kind of that 22 style follower catch thing. Don't know what to call it. Yeah, it's very reminiscent of a 22. Which I like that. I think this is a very easy way to load the magazine, especially if you're in. This gun is, again, kind of designed for people that have, lesser hand strength or are new to guns, and maybe, loading each round in one at a time might not be a thing you want to do. So you can easily grip this down, plop your bullets in, and you're good to go. Or your ammunition, not bullets. Yeah, so you can easily load it in there. It has 8 rounds. I would like to see if they make a 2.0.1 or like a Gen 2 M&P Shield Easy. I would like to see a larger capacity magazine, more than 8 rounds. I'm not sure why they picked 8, but I guess 8's a good number. It's a very round number. But I would like to see more. I think if they widen the magazine just a little bit, maybe they can get an extra round or 2 in there. I'd like to see a 10-round capacity magazine. But that's just me. So the magazine release is reversible. Again, because of the magazine, you have a cutout on both sides, so you can reverse the magazine. I personally don't. And the person that owns this gun, my roommate, is not a left-handed person, so it doesn't make a lot of sense, but you can reverse the magazine release if you choose to. The big thing on this gun is the grip safety, and I know a lot of people talk about that. I don't know if it's really hated or not. I don't mind the grip safety. I think it's fine. It's very 1911 or Springfield, XD-ish. The nice thing about the grip safety is, I think for new shooters, is if you are not, for people that aren't comfortable with a striker-fired gun, this is not striker-fired, by the way, it's hammer-fired, but for, a lot of new shooters, they want safeties. They want a lot of safeties on their guns. I did too when I first started shooting. I wanted a safety on my gun because I wasn't 100% comfortable with the idea of a striker-fired pistol. So I think this is a great option for people like that. And I've been told it helps with the lightness of the gun overall, the light, slider pool and everything else. I don't know exactly how. I'll have to look that up, but I think it's a good feature for people that are new to guns and new to shooting, and they want that, that kind of reinforcement of, yes, this gun is a safe gun. So I think that's good for people. Nice thing is if you don't have it depressed, safety is off, trigger doesn't work. Pushing the grip safety, gun works. So I think for people, having that grip safety is a big deal. There is a manual safety as well. So again, depressed doesn't work, but safety down does. There's also, it's nice that there is no magazine disconnect. I know some people like magazine disconnects. I can't find a reason to like them. I think they are pointless. Especially if you lose your magazine in a fight. Again, really unlikely, but if you lose your magazine in a fight and you have one round in the chamber, you still have one shot. If the magazine gets dropped out of the gun. I can't justify why people want a magazine disconnect. I think it's just some lawyer type stuff, but some guns have them, this one doesn't. I think most of the M&Ps don't have magazine disconnect from what I understand. I don't think any of them do at this point. So, there you go. The trigger, we'll talk about the trigger really quickly. The trigger itself it's not bad. It's not amazing, but for a single action internal hammer fired pistol, it's pretty decent. So you have your take up, a little bit of a take up. It's not spongy, it's just kind of there. It's not gritty, it's pretty smooth. I did oil and clean this gun recently, just about an hour or two ago, so it's not bad. But yeah, there's a little bit of take up on it, and then you hit the wall right about there, and then, oh, hold on. Gotta grip the gun firmly. Hit the wall right there, and then there is your follow through. Again, not bad. There is an overstop travel on the bottom, or over travel stop, so it's not too bad. The reset is there somewhere. The reset is there. It's not really audible. There we go. It's slightly audible, but it's not really tactile. So if you're you're shooting, you can't really feel it. I don't think most beginners really care about that. Oh, turn the light on. I don't think most beginners care about that. So that may or may not be an issue to them. So let's move on to the kind of the slide area. You do have a slide release on the the left side only. Nothing on the right side. So if you are ambidextrous, maybe that's a thing. Maybe that's an issue for you. Maybe it's not. Can't really find a reason. I mean, magazine release is, so the worst case scenario, you can flip the magazine release around and then just power stroke it if you need to. But you do have one there. It's actually not bad. There's enough. It's not oversized where it's going to get caught on anything, or you're not likely to ride the the slide release, but it's big enough where you can get to it. And again, if you don't want to go that, we can always come over the top, or around and power stroke it that way. The serrations are amazing on this pistol. Smith & Wesson, in my opinion, has some of the best slide serrations that I like. In my opinion, they're pretty. They're not snag free. I mean, they're snag free enough where they won't catch on your clothing or whatever. But they're aggressive in a way where they aim downward. So when you're grabbing on it, it forces your hand to slide down a bit, which gives you more, in my opinion, more purchase on it. So it really helps. I don't know what they call the serration. I'm going to call it scales because I like that. It just looks cool. Other thing this has, which helps in the helps in making this gun easy to use, ding, is you have these little charge wings on the back, kind of like the H&K VP9, or there we go, like the H&K VP9 pistols. You can kind of grab onto these things and really yank them back. As you can see here, it's a little bit wider on the outside, and again, that's to help you engage the slide and pull back. And this slide's super easy to pull back. It's very light spring, so almost no effort at all to get it to go. The front serrations, I think, are stupid. I think they're just there as kind of an aesthetic thing. I don't really think they have any real usable value. If they were going to do that, I think they should have made, if they were going to use it for actual, for actual usage, I think they should have made them bigger. But again, I think they're just there because they are there on the full-sized, and I think the full-sized has them just for aesthetics. And they look cool, too. I mean, to be fair, they look really cool. But again, they serve no real physical purpose other than looking cool. On the top of the slide, you have your rear sight, your front sight. Your front sight is held in place with a little C-clip. Your rear sight is put in place with the dovetail, and I believe there's a screw in there too. I don't know if it's actually a real dovetail or just a screw. I'm not going to, again, this is not my gun, so I'm not going to take it apart to find out, but you have that kind of, the Novak style rear sight and your front sight. It's a 3-dot sight arrangement, so pretty common on most, handguns. If this was my pistol, I would probably swap these out with some tritium night sights or fiber optics. Also on the top, you have a loaded chamber indicator, right here. If that's a thing you like, there it is. I think it's great, especially if you are a new shooter. It gives you a really good kind of obvious indication if there's something in the chamber. At night, you can swipe your hand over the slide and kind of feel if it's loaded or not. So to me, that's something that for new shooters might be a thing they want. So you have that on there, the barrel. It's 380, so not a bad barrel. It's pretty accurate. This gun's pretty accurate. It's not like a match grade target pistol, but it's accurate for what you want. Moving forward on the gun up to kind of the front of the muzzle, you have your Picatinny rail, your tactical rail, or your accessory rail, or whatever we're going to call it. I don't think it's a true spec 1913 rail, but it works. As you see here, I have a TLR7 on here. I'm going to do a review of the TLR7. I've had this light now for a little over 1.5 years, and so I'll do a 1-year review on it pretty soon. On the front, you have your recoil spring, your barrel. Your recoil spring is a little interesting, so we'll talk about that when we take the gun apart. So let's go ahead and take the gun apart, and we'll look at the inside real quickly, and then we'll finish with our final thoughts. So to take the gun apart, you'll lock the slide to the rear, make sure the chamber is empty. As you can see, it is. Take the takedown lever, you'll swing it 90 degrees downwards. And now what you'll do is you'll let the slide release, let it go forward, and you will push the slide forward, and it'll slide right off. Alright, here's your frame. Make the light a little bit better. There you go. So, on your frame, you have your hammer. There's your disconnect. There is your plunger safety lever that pushes the safety plunger, or the firing pin block plunger up. There are your slide rails. And that's that. Alright, now the slide. Slide is a Browning style action, pretty common with most semi-automatic pistols. Here is your guy brought in spring. It's a captured spring. As you can see on the front of the spring, it has kind of a goofy looking football shape. And that works with the front here where it has that same shape. So in some ways it might be easier for people to remember how to put it in, but at the same time it's kind of goofy where it just doesn't, you have to put it in exactly the same way. So maybe that might be a plus or a minus to some people. And here's your barrel. Adequate, good rifling. It's an okay barrel. Again, not a marksmanship barrel or a match grade barrel or anything, but it's there. On the inside of the slide, here we go. This is the rear sight screw. There is your firing pin. There is your firing pin block. That is your extractor. There's your firing pin hole. That is your chamber indicator. And that is your front sight C-clip, right up front. Put it back together, pretty much like you took it apart. Slide the barrel in. You'll take the little goofy football shape, you'll aim that into it where it fit. As you notice on the recoil spring on the rod at the rear, there is a flat bit and then kind of a half rounded or a rounded bit. You want the rounded bit to face up and downwards. You want the flat bits to go sideways. And as you see, like that. So, go put the slide back on. When you're putting the slide back together, make sure not to depress the grip safety. I'm going to show you why here. Because if you put it on, it will not let you put the slide on. When I took this gun apart the first time, I could not figure out why the slide wouldn't go on when grabbing it this way. It did not come to my attention that you need to not depress the grip safety. Because you will do it, and you could actually bend that piece of metal if you do it hard enough. So don't do it. Just grip at the bottom if you can. And when you put it on, it should go right together. You'll feel kind of a little bump. And then lock the slide to the rear, like so. Flip your slide lock lever, and you're good to go. So that's how you reassemble it. Let's talk about final thoughts. So final thoughts of this pistol, I'd buy one. If I had money and time and I wanted to buy another pistol, this is probably a pistol that I would purchase. Even as someone that shoots a lot and owns a decent amount of handguns and rifles, I would definitely add one of these to my collection. I think they're a great starting gun for people. I would buy one literally for that, just when I go to the range with someone that has never shot a gun before. This is the gun that I would probably hand them, because there's a lot of safety features on it where it gives them a little bit more leeway to learn how to use the gun and feel safe while using it. I think it's a good, would I use it for concealed carry? Maybe. I carry a Glock 19 generally, or a VP9 SK, and so this is about the size of a Glock 19. I think yeah, it's a little bit smaller than one, like just by like a millimeter or two. So I would definitely use it as a concealed carry gun. If the 9mm version, the 380, maybe not, but definitely would consider it as a concealed carry gun. Definitely a home defense gun. Definitely a target gun. Especially with the light on it, it makes a perfect little handy, home defense pistol. Again, my only gripe is the magazine capacity. That can be pretty easily solved. The trigger is okay. The sights, you can change that out, so that's not really even an issue. I do believe they do. I don't remember who exactly sells extensions, but I know there's someone that does sell extensions for the M&P Shields. I just don't remember who. And I don't remember how much they add. I think they're 3D printed too. But I think it's like only one extra round or two. So it's not enough for me to go out there and buy them, or if I bought this pistol, go out and buy it. My only complaint of this gun, and I think maybe it's just this gun, I don't know, is the gap between the frame and the slide. Holy crap. That's a lot of gap. Right there. It's like you can see the table. It's a lot. That's not something that I care about a lot. That's just that's nitpicking the crap out of this thing. I think really, for the most part, I wouldn't care about that. I didn't even notice it until I was cleaning it that had that large of a gap. So I don't even think my roommate notices that. So on that alone, would I buy this? Hell yeah, I would buy this. These right now, I think they're selling around, I don't know what, $450 to $499, something in that range. I've seen them for $5 in the upper, like in the low $5s. I've seen them in the higher $4s, but generally speaking, they're not bad. 380 right now I think is a little hard to find, because I think everyone is buying 380, because it was a huge, and I think this is kind of the reason why everyone is buying all the 380 ammos, because guns like this are out and people love them, and I love this. They make this in a few different things. They do a black, they do this kind of burnt bronze, which I probably should have mentioned that first. And I love the burnt bronze color. I personally would like a burnt bronze frame and a black slide, or even like a coyote brown frame and a black slide. That's just me. But it looks cool. They do offer a pro, or a performance center version of this, where Smith & Wesson, they changed the trigger. You get a gold grip safety. You know, you get a titanium nitride barrel with some slide cuts, I think, or something. And the barrel's a little bit longer with a little compensator on it. It looks cool. Fiber optic sights. Is it worth spending the extra money on one of those? I don't know. But if you want like an out-of-the-box competition, you know, 380 pistol, that might be something you want to go with. But again, Performance Center pistols from Smith & Wesson are usually really good guns, so you can't go wrong with that. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys are staying safe, staying well. If you have any questions on this pistol or anything else, please leave it in the comments section, or you can message me through that. Hit like, subscribe, and we'll be doing more of these videos really soon. Again, hope you guys are staying safe. Have a good one.